and stars painted pictures across sky so blue. Lived Theo and June in a cottage quite wide, with a puppy named Whiskers who never left their side. He was tiny and shaggy, with paws far too big. He'd tumble and trip when he tried to dig. He'd bark at balloons and the wheels on a bike, at butterflies, bubbles, and things he didn't like. But one thing was strange, yes, truly quite odd. At midnight he'd bark as if something was flawed. He'd stare at the door with his ears standing tall, as if he had heard a ghost in the hall. June would roll over and say go to bed, but Theo sat up, scratching his head. There's something he's saying, there's more to this bark. It only begins when the clock hits the dark. Then one cloudy night, with the wind blowing cold, and the air full of secrets too spooky to hold, Whiskers began with a sharp little growl, then a bark, then another, then a loud urgent howl. Theo jumped up and slid on his shoes, with no time to waste and no time to lose. He whispered, I'm coming, what is it you know? And Whiskers took off with the wagon a go. They padded through halls and out the back door, past garden and gate, and onto the moor. The grass was all wet and the sky was so black, but Whiskers kept going, he didn't look back. A glimmer ahead, a flicker of light, by an old crooked tree stood a curious sight. A basket, a blanket, a creature asleep, a baby white goat with a frightened soft bleat. Theo knelt down and said, are you lost? Then wrapped it up warm to keep out the frost. Whiskers stood guard like a brave little knight, while the goat snuggled close in the calm of the night. How did you know? Theo asked with a grin, and Whiskers just barked with his tongue lolling in. They walked through the dark with the goat in his arms, back past the trees and the whispering farms. June met them both at the garden's green gate, rubbing her eyes, why were you late? Theo just smiled and lifted the goat. I followed his bark and found what he wrote. Since then each midnight, the puppy still speaks, in barks, yips, and growls, and small little squeaks. And now both the siblings stay up when they can to decode